And we are live. I decided to react to a video called Is It Selfish to Not Want Kids? And I got Mandalore with me right now, and maybe some Sparkle at some point if her mic is working well. How are you, Mandalore?
I'm okay. Had a cat sleep on my face last night.
That sounds fun. I cannot wait to have my shit together so I can have cats at my place as well. Cats, they sound great. So, I found a very interesting video out there, and it's a subject I care about because I feel it's important to talk about it. And now I will screen share that thing. Um, Damn it, Sparkle. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. She was there backstage for like 2 minutes, but she vanished into oblivion. Oh, she's coming back. She's back. So bring her back. And Sparkle is back. Is everything all
Ah,
My
right?
stuff died. My stuff died on me. How does it sound? Does it sound okay?
Yeah. Welcome,
but
welcome.
your picture is scary.
The way to do it. How are you, Miss Sparkle?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to share with the both of you this video I found by pure luck, I guess, back in the day, like a month ago or so. And I thought that was very important because there's that kind of gender war, and there's also a lot of people that don't want kids, and there's a lot of judgmental people that are like, oh, let's just not make kids anymore because it's selfish and that kind of stuff. And I think it's a very interesting topic. So I
Mm.
guess with that being said, that's the premise of the reaction. We will react now to this video. I'm time stamping that thing. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Why do you think a lot of young people aren't having kids?
Honestly, selfishness.
I've never ever wanted kids.
Would you agree with that statement? Selfishness.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think. To be honest.
It all depends on the reason. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. It depends on what. It's your life. It's your if you're not able to take care of something, you're not able to take care of it. Don't bring something into this world if you can't take care of it.
That's true too. Yeah. I thought you were meaning by her
But
answer, but in
but it all
general,
it's individual. If the response is I don't want to have a bit. I don't want a kid because I want to party and do stupid stuff my whole life. That's a bit selfish, but it's their right to choose. In all honesty,
yeah, that's
yeah.
very
But what if
interesting.
everybody chooses that though? What's
Everyone,
the
yeah, you said it. Like a lot of people chooses that, and I think it's because they're empowered to do so. Because the old world is trash, and we need progresses to change everything. I think that's my view on it. I think a lot of the not wanting kids BS is caused by people just hating what it was like 50 years ago.
it, it it's also being pushed. There's it's see this is a deeper topic because it's also there's connections to depopulation theory where the idea of not having kids is being pushed onto people, so less people. Like this is a very kind of open topic.
Yeah. I will address chat because chat is interesting. Part of selfishness. Part is 20 years old thinking themselves to still be kids these days. Part is women being pushed into careers. I would agree with that statement. I think now it's more promoted and more glorified to have a good job, a lot of money than having kids. I
Well, I'll add to that that it's partially that, and it's not that it's better to have a career. It's the cost to have a kid and the cost of everything's gone up.
I
So
think it's
you need
also the amount of
you
people are waiting later in life to have kids. when it's harder to have kids.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And it's more, but everything costs more just to take care of yourself. So to add an extra mouth that just kind of takes in and doesn't help, other than being cute, and bringing love,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah, but when
you
you're
have,
old,
you have to
more
have
people
money saved up,
old.
and some people get pulled into that. There's also
You'll be alone when you're old if you don't have kids.
There's many reasons. It's kind of on for something like this, especially if we're reacting to this video. I'd say it's better to go by case,
Yeah.
by response, because otherwise it's
The only
a
issue
whole
is that
big
more people are saying they don't want kids nowadays. Like more and
Yeah.
more. Everybody's like more and more. It's like we're an aging society. We're gonna,
And
you know,
and
like
and I must address three issues we got with aging society, and then after that we will move on with the reaction. But I feel like the first issue we have with aging society is, what if you end up being lonely, or some people decide to have kids but others don't, then there's less chances for future generation to find true love with other human. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, but there's AI in the rise and that kind of BS."
it's all
Yes,
part of depopulation theory.
yeah, but again, I think, and maybe I'm crazy, but I think
Yes,
nothing can really replace human connection. As much as the AI will be very realistic and it's already very advanced on that aspect, it's not a human being. It's just a creation that was made to fix other issues in society.
well, I think Japan is a good example of. I'm just, I could be wrong, but with them like only wanting boys, or is that China?
China,
it
that's
was
China.
China
China,
that one child policy,
yeah, yeah. Again,
and
you
they
know,
only want. Yeah.
and they're an aging. They're yeah.
Well, the
And
problem was it was a one child policy, but it was also you only wanted males to carry on the name.
Mm-hmm.
So they have lots of males but no females.
yeah,
So
and
they're kind of
and
so that.
and
Okay, one at a time.
Well, I was just gonna say, and that's been part of their issue. It was because they were running out of space and they're running out of that, so they said you can only have one kid.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
it was, but you always wanted a male because males are seen as superior, and you want to carry on your family's name, which you can only do through a male because if they get married. So if everyone's having males and killing their daughters, which they were
or
doing,
making them adopted or something
no,
like
they
that.
usually killed
No,
them. Like
they
they
were
were,
right when they were born. The mom would. I just watched a video about how they
they're
had to make it a law because the moms were. Um, they didn't believe they had souls until they were like a year old.
well, no,
Wow.
there's pictures from before, like I remember growing up seeing pictures of, unfortunately, and we won't go into too much description, but of dead babies sitting in the road because they were born girls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was no,
Disgusting.
it
Mom
wasn't
would
like in Western society where it'd be put up for adoption or euthanized properly. They have no care if it was, they would give birth to it, and if it was a girl, pretty much tossed in the garbage.
That's disgusting. I ate that
Yep.
shit.
It was
But
awful.
and they're paying the price,
make
and they
them
had to reverse that policy
Yeah.
due to almost no females. And I think Japan also has a very similar issue where they have a much higher male.
Well, it was Japan. I could swear it was Japan. The video I watched about the moms could choose if they wanted the baby after they gave birth, and they were having issues with too many moms ending their babies right off the bat. So I had to make it like against the law and stuff.
That's disgusting. And I now the second reason is price of life, cost of life. Let's be honest. As much as robot can replace jobs, robot don't really bring money the way a human would. So, if you don't make babies, you will never really solve all of the rise in prices. It's the sad truth. And the last thing to address with the fact that we don't want kids anymore is we used to have religion to anchor us, to guide us, and to give us purpose. And we also had family giving us purpose. Now, outside of family, what is purpose for people? Making money. But let's be honest, you die, who cares how much money you had? As simple as that.
True.
There's no true purpose. There's no true legacy if you don't really have kids. So
Doesn't go
these
with
are
you when you're gone.
yeah, yeah. You were a number. So there are issues
But we
with
know
not really wanting kids.
Yeah.
So okay, that's very interesting. I just don't want my kids to be poisoned their whole life with syrup and get psy-opt into becoming some kind of Dairy King communist by Roblox. Very interesting. I think a lot of things depends on how parents raise their kids, but I can understand that worry there, and it's
Well-
very interesting. That feels legitimate there.
Well, that's one thing as well. Is there's a lot of people who are now more homeschooling and also not wanting to bring kids into this world because of how left-leaning society has been for the last 4+ years.
Well, more than that, it's
Well,
been
no,
like
but
that for at least 10
really
years.
it's been really hardcore with the trans things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
has, but
The
that
last
would be coward just to give up and let them win, though.
last 8 to 10 years, it's been most in schools now pushing it. And like as most people will say, and like conservatives like me are accused of, we just don't want gay kids and stuff. It's like, in all honesty, most normal people do not give birth wanting a gay child because they want their child to reproduce. They want their kids to have families of their own and whatnot. And you don't really get that but it's not that they are upset and they refuse to have one. It's also they're
Who's
not
to
upset.
do-
Kids learn about being gay. It don't want it forced down their throat when they're still learning stuff and being pushed on them by teachers and other people.
That's
Yeah.
why you got to be there to watch that, because I got to deal with that with my kids in school.
Well,
And I'm
exactly.
raising some good boys. You
You
just got to
want-
be parents. You got to be parents.
Well-
But I guess if you don't want, I guess it's selfishness. Because if you don't want to take the responsibility and the be a strong influence on your kids' lives and make sure that they don't end up as a social contagion, then
Well, and with the amount of children being groomed by teachers either to become trans or sleeping with them, like how many horror stories are there of teachers who are helping kids transition without their parents' knowledge, giving them the medication and taking them to things that they don't need
Yeah.
without the parents' consent and just forcing it upon their kids? Like, kids are very impressionable. There's a reason why,
I know
and this is a different topic, so I won't go too much into this,
Yeah.
but there's a reason why kids aren't allowed to do so many things till they're 18. Some things when they're 16, but mostly till they're 18.
Yeah.
Because they're not adult, they don't know what they want yet. They're very impressionable at young age. So why are they allowed to horribly change their body before a certain age? And
Yeah.
there's been more and more people coming out against it, going, I regret it, and now they're stuck with this.
Yeah.
But mainstream media doesn't want to address that because it
No.
goes against their own
But that's
narrative.
why it all boils down to, I think for this
And don't
video,
let them on
this
social
could be
media
a
and
much
stuff.
this
think
could be a
there's a
much
way to
longer
combat
video
it.
if we just go on if we just talk about the topic in general. I
Yeah.
think we have to do this based on everyone's individual response and figure out if their reason is boiled down to selfish.
And just before we close off that small tangent there, eventually, if I ever have kids, I will homeschool them, and I will make sure I'm not the only one involved in their education because I want them to succeed and to be very smart. And I don't think the public school system is the answer. And even if you go private, the only big difference is there's more money poured into it, so I guess it's more selective in terms of like the teachers and the
Private school.
student themselves being there.
If
But
you want your kids to be successful, move out Quebec. And that's not a French joke this time. That's
Dude.
not.
Okay,
There's
the thing that
issues in
wants to go
Quebec.
is that their
It's-
answers might be okay. I watched a good video about how a society will answer certain things because they think that's the way everybody else will answer it. But so these answers might be because they might be saying because that's what they think everybody else is thinking. But individually, it might be something totally different.
Well, that's why we should be doing this for this video in response, unless we want to do a whole grander video.
Yeah.
I think we
So-
should have Greg for.
Because they're
We-
just being interviewed, like so of course they're going to be like, oh, because of who knows what their individual reasons are.
Yeah, but to address that comment just before we click play, yes, I think socialization is very important, and I think there's always a place and a moment. I just don't think public school is the answer. So let's play the video, because now we are 5 seconds into it, and yeah, let's just see what happens. It's loading. It's loading.
It's a little bit selfish.
I feel like I just can't dedicate the time.
I gotta find the right lady first.
Do you think motherhood is looked down upon?
I think relationships do break from motherhood.
Having a feminine role in a family is looked down upon. You're a boss, bitch. You don't need no dude.
I think it's more of the women that are not wanting to have kids than it is men.
I'm actually going through a breakup right now.
Birth rates are at historic lows, and everybody thinks they know why. They blame feminism, degeneracy to rising costs, but I think everybody has gotten it wrong. So I'll tell you what I think, but let's also explore what the solution is to support an increasingly aging population.
I think there's a lot of things you need to do to fix the issue. It's not just one thing. It's like a disease, and usually disease have several symptoms. I think one of the symptoms would be cost of life. It's true, it's very high, and it can only increases if we choose to not make babies. The second issue would be the gender war. I think it's very important to address that, because you ask a woman, that's the man's fault. You ask a man, that's the woman's fault. And I will be honest, I'm dating an African chicks, and it's wonderful. She is amazing, and the main reason why, it's because she wasn't born here, and I think the place might be an issue. I think you are wired here in Canada, and I think maybe in US as well, in the USA as well, because of all of the divide there is there. I'd say guys are even worse than us, because I think it's just crazy how divided you guys are. But I think
we're like, I think it's kind of equal.
I don't know. I think guys have it worst, based on what I've seen and heard.
I think you're French Canadian crazy.
Yeah, we are, but
Be polite and not saying anything.
but
He wants to fight with me.
I
I'll
got
fight with you, but just in the topic in general, I'm just being. I don't want to get his channel demonetized or taken down.
Yeah, so the chat pointed out something I fully agree on. Modern society and liberalism brings social unrest with it. I think when your only value is money, there's something wrong. I think when it's all about you and yourself, because this is all you were raised, that's part of the issue.
Self-love movement.
Yeah, it's good to have high self-esteem. It's good to love yourself, but you need some balance in all of that. If you have no love for others, and all of the love you got is for yourself, maybe there's something wrong with you. Even if mainstream won't say it, I say it. Maybe I'm crazy. Any thoughts on what we've said since we paused, Mendel or Miss Sparkle?
Again, I think that's a deeper conversation because there's also thoughts of you can't love anyone until you love yourself. Again, this is a very broad topic and we're trying to be more focused on this specific video. So I think we should try and keep it more to responses directly from the video. Because I
feel
think
kind of bad for
him.
he chooses not to have children, and I feel like you and I have kids and you want kids. I feel like in a way it's kind of like ganging up on him. I feel kind of bad.
On me?
Yeah.
No, I would love to have a daughter or something, but
me too. I want daughters as much as I want sons as well. I feel like daughters will have it easier. Outside of the periods, they will just have life easier. That's how I see it.
The whole thing is a teenage girl, so yeah, okay. Teenage girls are evil.
So
okay, let's push his answers though. I want to know what he has to say.
Yeah.
Because is the answer in immigration, or is the future about to get a whole lot weirder? To find out, I talked to some pretty unexpected people. A sperm donor and a woman who just used one.
I didn't feel like I need to go through a partner just to have a baby.
I cannot wait for this to come up later on. I will tear this shit apart. When I've seen it, I wanted to burn the building down. I swear. But yeah, let's just play the rest.
I wanted to be a single mother.
But first, let's hit the streets. Do you want kids?
No.
Why?
I've never ever wanted kids ever since I was little. People kept repeating to me, "Oh, you'll change your mind. You'll change your mind." Guess what? I'm almost 30, still haven't changed my mind.
I gotta say, that's a good thing. She knows she doesn't want kids because we don't want her to reproduce. As much as,
in all honesty, she's known it for a long time. She does. I don't consider that selfish. It's not for everyone. She's known for a while. Boo! Indirect.
Yeah. But yeah, like, if someone doesn't want kids, don't force them to have kids, please. That's like the worst thing. And I'm pro-life, okay? I'm pro-life. I want kids. I hope most people that want kids will have kids eventually, but like, if you don't have that parents fiber in you, if you don't want to be parents, don't become one, please.
Well,
thank you.
Again, if you don't want kids, in all reason, if you don't want kids for whatever reason, don't have them. Because if you don't, like, again, there's people who don't want kids, have a happy accident, and then they fall in love with the child. And it changed. Actually, having a kid versus what your wants are beforehand are almost two different things most of the time. But there are people who don't want kids, have a kid, and then don't have attachment, and that kid usually grows up to have some sort of issues. Like, it's better to have people who want kids to have kids than people to be forced to have kids, because that's almost as worse as people being forced to have abortions.
Yeah.
Just do it naturally. Don't force anything that's not supposed to be.
Buddy having a kid and then not loving their kid, hating their kid after they have them.
And I'd rather a kid be put up for adoption than be kept in a loveless home. But why put them through that if they don't need? If you know that they don't need to be.
Yeah. So there's a very interesting comment there. The cost of living in the 90s and 2000 was lower than the 70s and 80s, and still saw lower birth rates. I think it was because of religion, the higher birth rate back then, but I'm not surprised of that. That statement there doesn't surprise me at all. I feel like the 80s and the 90s might be great years. I'm glad I was born at some point between these timelines, but I feel like anything past the 2000, man, it's bad.
I think it was lower because there was more choice, more birth control, more, more choice. You had more of a choice.
They-
You were forced to have
The
kids.
90s were the beginning of modern, like the 80s to 90s was kind of going out of the older age, like the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. 70s and 80s were more middle, and 90s is the more modern technological age.
Yeah, and it said lower. He said it was lower.
Well, yeah, and that's my point is there's been more distractions, there's been more temptations, there's been more.
I think it's birth control.
It's
Mhm.
Yeah, birth control. Yeah, you
birth
nailed
control
it.
and internet, because as more guys are getting easier access to,
Something we won't mention, but we know.
but I think
Because
that
they can
actually
offer birth control at 15 and it's free birth control everywhere. But I think that's why it lower. It could be
But-
lower.
Yeah.
well, yeah, and also people were more open and honest than they were before. It was you didn't sort of talk about things. 90s was 80s, 90s were when you started talking about things and things started becoming more open and accepted, that you weren't forced to have a kid just because you're a woman and in a relationship.
Yeah, that's true. And
so
that's a
birth
good
control
thing. I
so
like
birth
that.
control became more common
And
because people were allowed to say, I don't want a kid, so I'm going on the pill. There was so much more modern distraction. There was more greed was coming in as the technology was finally starting to pick up and move a little faster.
There's a lot of factors.
Well, yeah, there's many factors, and like to specify down to one sort of cause is not a possibility.
Yeah. Let's play the rest. I'm curious to hear about her thought process behind why she doesn't want kids.
They cost a lot of money. The economy is and honestly, it's also like I feel always so excited to travel and do all these things. It just makes it so hard.
Yes.
Why?
I want to give them the life that I didn't have as a child. I grew up with a single parent, my mom raising me. It was a very toxic household, and I didn't get the love that I think I deserve. So I really want to give that to my kids, which is why
she's cute.
Dating is so important to me.
You need
Okay. I think that lady there is saying dating is very important to her. That's interesting coming from a broken house. And I think that's a segue there. I think breaking apart the house was a terrible idea, and it's one of the factors why people don't want kids anymore, because they didn't grow up with a full household. In a lot of cases, you're like, I don't want to raise a child by myself. And let's be honest, like I've known single mothers. I won't name drop people except if they want to reveal themselves, but but
I didn't say anything.
As someone that knows single moms, because I know a single mom or two, I think it's very difficult to be a single parent in general. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. As much as it's great to be parents, or I think it's great. I don't know, but as much as I think it's great, I think it can be very hard to be alone dealing with kids. Any thoughts, fellow panelists?
Especially when you're not the same sex parent, when the father's gone and you have 3 boys, it does make it hard when, they need to talk to a male, boy. And another, male about certain things. It makes it hard.
Again, there is no one answer, and I think it also depends, because there's some people who can do it wonderfully. It depends on their environment growing up. It depends on who they are as a person. Like she took a negative situation and wants to turn it into a positive situation, whereas some are corrupted by the bad situation and don't want and sort of repeat it. She wants to break that.
Yeah, I can get that, because with my kids, I want to break the cycle of abuse, of like unhappiness and abuse too with my kids. I want them to be happier than their father and their father.
And the woman before this, she was honest. Like she wants to travel. She wants to do that. It's a little bit selfish, but she has her goals. I think the answer to the question also changes is what happens if you got pregnant today? And if she said she would abort because she wants to travel and because she doesn't want to deal with kids,
Sounds
that's
like a
selfish.
punk to me.
Yeah.
That's selfish. But not going into it because she knows what she wants to do and she's content with her life. I don't think that is selfish. I think it, like any of these questions, it has to go in. But what happens if you got pregnant today? Would you abort? And we're not here to discuss
Abortion.
pro-life versus abortion, because I think all three of us are more pro-life anyway.
Yeah.
And there are exceptions to every rule. But I don't think. But we're not here to debate that aspect. We're here to debate: if you got pregnant today, would you keep or would you abort?
Yeah.
And I think so far it could be seen as a little bit more selfish that she just wants to take care of herself. She doesn't want any more responsibility. Can be seen as selfish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if she doesn't want kids, why put herself in that place? And if she gets a little bit, it's like it's
fine.
closer to the selfish side, but it's not. And just like this woman, if she needs a sperm donor,
this is not the one with the sperm donor, is it?
No, that's not the one with the sperm
No,
donor.
no.
That's
She's
later.
not the one who said that. I'm just saying, from looking at her, if she needs one.
Yeah.
Perfect. You degenerate. You knock it off.
I like that. But I gotta say one last thing about single parents and such. I was raised by single mother at some extent. I won't go into many details, but I know how it feels like to be raised by a single mother, and I think she is a wonderful woman. She is amazing. I wish and hope if I find I wish and hope if the person I'm dating is somewhat similar to that amazing mother I had. But as a child, you don't really have lots of point of reference. It I had no solid father figure. I had my granddad. He was great, but he wasn't around enough to really influence me. And it was really hard for me to really know what a man should be and how he should act. It took me longer, I think, to form my identity in that way than other people that had two parent households. And I as a kid that was raised by single parents, that's a fear I got for in the future if I get kids. I hope I stay with my partner. And that's a deep fear where I'm scared that I may screw up the relationship. Let's be honest, as much as the women are the ones that leave and the ones that don't really stay anymore, a lot of times it's partly because of the man. The man does something wrong. It takes two to tango, as they say, and that's
no matter what, the man always does something wrong. Apparently,
my mom tried to be with my dad. My mom's amazing. My mom tried to be with my dad as long as she could. She didn't want us to not have our dad. My dad. She stayed with him till I was 16. He was horrible, and I tried to stick it out as long as I could too for my boys to have their dad. But sometimes it's better than, it's better to have a happy parent than having some of the horrible stuff I've seen and some of the stuff my kids have seen.
Yeah.
To be a single parent is sometimes better.
Yeah.
But
it's a very hard discussion, and I feel like we will close off that tangent soon, but I feel like people should be smarter. It's not because there are pills out there that you should sleep with whatever that moves. Be smarter. Your kids will pay the price. Always. It's always the kids. And it's sad, it's tragic, but that's the truth. If you screw up, that's on you, and your kid will pay the price. So I guess that will close off that small tangent, and we will play.
How's that going for you so far?
Horrible. I'm actually going through a breakup right now.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Do you want kids?
Yes, I believe in God and Jesus, and He tells us to repopulate the earth. I also think there's a growing trend of people who don't want kids because they think that kids are destroying the planet, that we're overpopulated. I don't think that's true. The destroying of the family.
I gotta say, there's a lot to unpack here. It's true, we are overpopulating. That's why we have cities and big building with a bunch of families in it.
There's a really good
However,
I just watched. It's not that old, but Big Think. It's called The Reason People Aren't Having Kids. Most of them aren't they're not true or something. I can't remember, but it's a really good video. That's like all these reasonings, like we're at the worst that we're ever right now. We're not. And stuff like that. You should check it out. It's a really good video about no, it's just, we're not overpopulated. It's not like there's too many people, so I don't want to have kids. That's not true.
No, but there is depopulation theory and people who want to depopulate.
yeah, that's true. Mandalore said it, and a lot of things like the one that sell of contraceptive, like whether it's condom or the pill, they like that kind of narrative because it helps them sell their products. So
Yeah, true.
It's just another thing. It's another disease with bunch of symptoms. That's how it goes.
Well,
And
one thing about the pill as well, and one of the selling things is, and one of the more current things is, you're not responsible for your own actions as being taught. And
that's disgusting.
Well, no, and that's part of the whole, and that's why they're saying is you don't have to have a kid just because you have. It used to be if you're going to have sex, be prepared to have a kid. When I was growing up, and I even as a teen and I was active, my response was I usually said, "What happened?" I usually said before we did anything, unless it just happened, is, and then it happened. The conversation happened after. What happens if something happens? If an accident happens?
When I was 18, I found out I was pregnant with my oldest, and I went to Planned Parenthood. I took a pregnancy test, and then they wouldn't let my my kids' dad go in the room with me. They had me in there by myself, and they showed me abortion papers and tried to convince me to get an abortion with my son because I have a future ahead of me, and all these selfish reasons to why I shouldn't have. They even left me in the room for an hour and a half by myself
to think about
contemplate and getting an abortion. Yeah. So I think that could be part of the issue too.
Yeah, but they're pushing that idea that, but again, like people are told they're not responsible. Like people are told about their truth versus the bigger truth. Like their truth matters, and people are told that they're not being responsible. They don't have to be responsible. Like just because you have a kid, they're pushing abortion more, and they're pushing they're banning the abortion pill. It's like no, they're not, and they're also not abortion birth control because most people rather you be on birth control and not have a kid where there's the possibility of abortion than have a kid and just abort it. And I think that's part of it is people are less responsible. Also, my one issue with what she said, and it's not necessarily an issue against as a whole, it's kind of reverse of not being told you're not responsible. She wants to have a kid because she's told to have a kid based on her values, and her values are, and Christianity is not necessarily bad in a whole. And we're not going to go into that debate either. But her response is, "Why do you want a kid? Because I'm Christian, and the faith tells me to have more kids and populate the earth."
Well, we didn't let her finish. We could let her finish, see if there's anything more to it.
Well, no, I gotta say, I paused for another reason. I wanted to address something else. Christianity, you brought it up. I feel like a lot of people that want kids are Christian. Let's face it. Let's be honest about it. A lot of them are Christian. I'm not, but the person I'm dating wants kids, and she is Christian. I think that's a trend. When you have religion, that usually goes end to end with having kids.
Well, and there's one thing to also look at. Most Christians are good people. We're not talking about the hyper religion where they say gays are evil and blah 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 and whatnot. But the basic everyday Christian is a good person.
Yeah.
People like her are good. So it seems. Who would we rather repopulate the earth or populate the earth? Good people with values and morals, or selfish people who are horrible people? The fact that we're telling horrible people not to have kids isn't necessarily a bad thing in all honesty, but shouldn't be pushed on everyone. But there is some positive to that happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as much as I think our generation, people like between the 80s to the 2000s, I think as much as we had it rough, I think in the next 20 to 30 years, things will get better because not everyone will have kids the way people used to have kids in the past. And I don't know, like, there's bad and good to it. I think we can have a nuanced discussion on pretty much anything. So let's just play the rest of what she has to say.
Family unit is so prevalent in every scope of society right now that it's almost rebellious to want to have kids.
How many kids do you want?
I want at least 4.
4.
Oh.
Damn.
I would want to bring kids.
4!
Do you know what?
I admire her courage. I
4
swear.
isn't actually like 4 seems like such a big number because birth rates are down and people aren't. But at my age, like I'm 38, I grew up with kids who grew up in. I also grew up in Jewish groups because I was Jewish and I went to Jewish school, where 2 was kind of like 1 to 2 was the basics or a minimal. I'm one of 3 siblings, and I grew up with people with anywhere between 3 to. I actually grew up with one family that had 8 kids and one family that had 12.
That's interesting. There's a glitch in the system, but I feel like I want minimum 2 and maybe 3. Well, actually 3 is the one I wish for, but I will settle down for 2. But 4,
Modern society
you're brave.
And modern costs.
Yeah.
It's more modern costs, like just to get a house to fit all 4 of them.
Yeah.
Again, if you have multiple, like a couple of one gender, you can probably fit them in one room for a few years. But for me, it's not that I do or don't want kids. I would love to have a daughter. I'm looking at 1 to 2, just because it'd just be nice to have a kid. Right now, my kids are my cats, and I have 6 of them.
Yeah,
and that's a handful.
Yeah. So I think bare minimum for me is 2. What I wish is 3. 3 sounds fun. And if we are about to make the 3rd one and we get twin, I will be happy as well. But in purpose, having 4, man, that's brave.
So you're more than fine with multiple, although you're not. You're a little bit kind of iffy about it's 4 or more, but if it happens, it happens. You're not going to be upset. You're going to be a little bit more financially stretched and worried, but you're going to be okay. But you're going to be planning and trying for 2 to 3.
Yeah, exactly.
But if more happen, like if you have 3 sets of twins,
you got it. You got it.
Because that's what it used to be.
Into the world.
How many kids? But if you had more, you had more.
Yeah.
Now it's
you need 6.
They're all accidents.
All accidents. I'm a cautious driver, I gotta say. Let's play this.
In an environment where both parents want children. And so for me personally, my wife doesn't want kids. And so that wouldn't be a good environment to bring a kid into. So it doesn't really matter to me.
I do want kids. Why is that? I feel like it's kind of like a legacy thing. I'm in my late 20s.
It's lagging, but I agree. It's a legacy thing.
Now, and it's not something I want tomorrow, but you start to think into the future and your life and just long term. And I feel like you can only
What is
leave
going
so much
on
of a
with
legacy
Streamer?
without having kids.
Your
What do you think's
internet's
stopping
being
you from having
slow.
kids right now then?
Cursed.
I got to find the right lady first.
I did, and now I'm hesitant.
Why is that?
I think I've moved from yes to maybe because I want to feel financially stable in my life.
I think this is a recurring thing, and I can agree with that. You want to be financially stable, and that's a very valid point. Um, AK master of the pull-out game. Well, AK protection matters. But yeah, to get back on track, people are worried, and I feel like at that point, people cannot really have that much power to control the economy itself. I think the government should wake up at some point and just fix shit, guys. Fix it. That's your job. But they won't do it. But that's
I think that's also something that's being pushed to maybe convince people not to, is that everything's so expensive. Things are expensive, yes. But the fact that it keeps getting hammered in isn't just a political discussion to try and talk about how things are bad. Because it is a fact. And things can be fixed. And people are trying to fix them in some countries, not every country.
Yeah.
But I think it's being pushed harder also to try and convince some people not to.
They can get that money. Go to the field.
Yeah.
Well, and most places have things that can help. And people, there are always ways. And I'm not saying everything's best, and I'm not saying anything illegal like selling drugs to afford kids or prostitution. But there are ways that you can make money.
Make the kids work the
And it's
fields.
just, well, and it's just like how it was in the old day. And like there's a streamer who I watch, Ranting Monkey, who worked at factories and stuff just to support his kids. Like there are jobs that are longer jobs and not the best paying jobs, but they pay and afford. You just have to be willing to put in the work.
Yeah. And I also gotta say, I've heard about countries or places where they would pay even more child support to increase the birth rate. And a very fun fact, it didn't help that much. I think people just lost the will to reproduce.
Well, and there's also countries who paid more for single parents, which pushed certain people to get pregnant and not be a family. And that's turned out wonderfully.
Yeah, we see it in full display. Broken house, broken
but
child.
we're not going to talk about who or where or what.
Miss Sparkle, not you. No, I'm joking. I'm teasing you, Miss Sparkle.
What? I'll fight you. Okay.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. So I guess we can play now.
Before I can bring a child into it. And then also, I want to feel a little bit more optimistic about the future.
The greatest blessing we can put on this earth is other children. So I believe it's our duty to have kids and spread everything we learn.
I gotta say, people went dark. They all have very negative thoughts, and my answer to them is, why don't you off yourself if you really think there's no hope? That's
Wow.
rude, but like that's how I see it. If you think everything is bad, just off yourself. I don't want to hear it.
That's another topic, and people do go that route. There are people who, because of how horrible the world is looking, there are people who, like a lot of these climate activists and these people who are being told, and it's more on the left. There are right-sided people who do it, but there are a lot of left people who are just being told they're coming to get you if you act a certain way, and that there's another Holocaust on the road, and they're acting like they're about to, and some of them have taken action against themselves to avoid that.
Yeah.
So genocide the pessimistic ones.
Yeah, get rid of them. We don't need them. They don't
I'm
help
trying to
anyway.
be well behaved for this discussion, and then you go saying, if you're worried about life, and you don't want kids because you don't want to ruin the earth more, go kill yourself.
Hey,
And
it
I'm
doesn't
trying to
work
be
that
good.
way.
I'm usually the shit disturber who risks channels. Jesus fucking Christ.
The weak must be
So we
destroyed.
can learn from our mistakes and be better than the last generation.
Thank
I don't think I
you.
ever
You have more
really wanted
sense than
kids.
the
What's up?
progress.
I did probably when I was younger, and then as I got older, and then some of my friends were having kids, and I saw how big of a responsibility that was. Felt like for my life and my kind of
Pause it
goals.
one moment.
So I really want to
was
be an entrepreneur. I feel like I
timestamping this. Okay, let's do this. What did you want to say?
You are a product of Canadian healthcare. Are you sad? You got a boo-boo? Go kill yourself. Have you thought about that? You are a product of our healthcare. I've just realized it's not your fault. You're in fucking Canada.
Dude,
Veteran, you want a ramp because you're having trouble getting in and out of your house? Have you thought about suicide? That was a real conversation that was talked to a veteran in Canada. Oh, you're sad? You're sad? Want to go on this list? That's a real
Multi
thing
would
that's
be the
happening here.
He would have a checklist, and all these people would be like, "Oh, okay, you can go. You can just freaking mark him off."
So I understand where your negative thinking's coming from.
and like they don't really take people seriously, like their health and shit. And the reason is it costs so much money to go with psychologists, to help, to have basic medical care, as much as we got it free. If you go private, you get a better service, but you gotta pay private, like the entire system when it comes to like mental health and physical health is not that great. It's money before people. They have offered made to depressed and autistic people. Okay, that's
yeah. Oh, yeah. They've actually they've opened up MAID to to special needs people.
I was actually laughing when I said "off yourself," but like,
no, I
these
realized where
places
that
actually exist. That's tragic.
A woman who was.
You don't know MAID exists in Canada?
Man, I'm not into that kind of shit, but wow.
No,
I didn't know.
They've actually added. It was people who were first started off as terminally ill, as assisted suicide, like Dr. Kevorkian.
But now autistic people? Are you kidding me?
It's been opened up to depression, homelessness,
Yeah,
and
a woman just
special
did it
needs
because she was
people.
depressed. Yeah.
And if you're homeless, you're allowed to
If
now.
you need to go
like
with real wheelchair ramp. Yeah.
Homeless, I get it. Like they have a shit life, but I mean, don't you see? There's
Canada.
like other issues we could face before
Unless you're sad, then go fucking kill yourself. And that's not a joke. That's literally what's going on in Canada right now.
Wow!
Oh, you're sad.
The country of freedom is ours. I'm not into that kind of doomer shit.
That's not doomer. That's actually what's going on in the news.
I know. I know. Now I know.
It's one thing if you lived in the States. Whoa. It's one thing if you lived in the States and didn't know about how bad a Canadian MAID was. But MAID is an actual thing medically, and it's not even something. They've done interviews with people who've done it. It's not where they put you and they comfort you and whatnot. They do it in like a doctor's office, like on a couch. Your last things are sort of looking at like a filing cabinet.
Wow.
There is no beauty. Sad. There is no grace. This is literally, you're sad about things. Fuck you.
You have suicide.
It's not worth living.
And it's not even a joke. That's literally what's going on.
Okay. Thank you, Trudeau. The comments. Rex victim. I enjoyed that. Wow. That went dark quick.
You started it, motherfucker.
I just can't dedicate the time.
So say you're a successful entrepreneur already. After that, you want kids and you have all the money in the world?
As of right now, no. But I haven't crossed that bridge, so I Couldn't tell you.
So I actually made a video on this a few years ago, but the fact is birth rates have continued to drop, where by 2050, over 75% of the world will be below replacement levels of 2.1 children per woman. Do people just actually feel held back by financial reasons, or do they just not give a shit about babies anymore? Well, I looked into it, and this study of 4,400 millennials found the top 3 reasons why they're not having kids, and they're actually all economic. A lot of people are looking at family as a luxury that only the rich can afford. You can also just see this amongst the people that you may talk to.
That's actually a very interesting point. Only the rich can afford.
That's also a liberal mind. That's also very liberal mindset where any luxury in life is only for rich people. But at the same time, they spend money on stupid things and they don't consider that a luxury.
And I can also debunk this right now. My mother was never rich. She doesn't own shit. I own more than her. And she got 3 kids and I don't. I think not well on biology aspect, everyone can have kids, right? But in fact, those who give a good life, usually these are the rich people. But if you are good with your money, if you're smart as an individual, you can get through shit. And my mother is not rich, but I think she is very good with the kids, and she doesn't live in luxury, but she's not in the streets. She has a roof, she has food. Usually she does pretty well.
Oh yeah, I grew up in a not rich household. Like we were lower middle. One of my earliest memories was still in diapers, where my parents checked my diaper and it wasn't soiled. So rather than waste the diaper, because diapers have always been expensive, they use electrical tape to reseal it.
Wow. Okay, I don't know how hygiene is,
but there's always sacrifices and priorities you made. Like, you want to live in a house, you want to have this. Okay, so you can't afford going out every day for food, or going out is not a. You have to learn to pack a lunch. You have to learn to. Oh, I can't afford the fastest internet. I can't keep up with the newest phone. But people nowadays don't see those as luxuries. They see that as a necessity. Like, they have to have the fastest net. They have to have the best laptop. They have to have the best phone with the biggest memory. Like, and it's become a joke, but it's legit. Like the avocado toast. Avocados are not cheap.
Yeah.
But they have to have it. But so many of them, I've seen it. I have liberal relatives who get it on most things. Like, in most places will now sell avocado, but it's an extra price. It's not too expensive to get it on like a burger or something. But if you take that expense away, but that's what they see as everything. Like, they have to go for these artisanal donuts and artisanal ice cream and artisanal this and that. And they don't see that as a luxury. They see that as, oh, I'm just going out for a small treat. But then when you do it all the fucking time.
There's a very interesting part. The most mentally effed up, unhappy people I know are rich. I think it's something because they got what everyone else wants, and they feel like there's nothing more they can get. So I don't know. Yeah, you make a very valid point. You make very valid discussion there. Now, I will share also my experience growing up. I'm a lot older than my younger siblings, so I was the lonely child there. And my parents were not rich. My dad, for most of my childhood, was a student, and my mom, she kind of like finished a degree, but she didn't go through her study to the end to take care of me. So she had a kind of decent paying job, but she wasn't rich. And dad clearly didn't have the money because he was a student. And I had a great childhood. My mother took care of me very well, and she wasn't rich. So I think even with not a lot of money, you can do great things if you know how to manage your money. If you don't waste it on Starbucks coffee or delivery or some other BS, Uber, I don't know. There are ways you can save some money. Even with not having the most paying job, you can do great things. Just be smart with your money. That's my 2 cents. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
That's
Okay.
my response every time you say that.
Well,
Spark.
it's okay to be crazy, but money doesn't equal love. You know, money doesn't
No.
make. Also,
That's true.
without struggle, there's no. I mean, there's no. You know, you need struggle to, you know, fucking I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like without the. I mean, if you don't, how can you appreciate the happiness if you don't have a little bit of sadness? So, damn.
And just before we close off that small segment there, I will also add this. Jump back in time, much later in my life, I got a younger sister on my father's side, and much later in my life as well, my father started earning my mom, and he was having a lot more money than my mom. And on her side, well, my parents are separated, so they both got families on their side with other people. And so basically my dad had a second child and he stopped there. My mother had a second and a third child, and she has 3 kids now, and she doesn't have as much money as my dad. So that also defeats the narrative of, oh, only rich people can afford kids.
Well, and as I was going to say, I'm responding to both what both of you said is, you can't enjoy life with the ups without the downs, because without the downs, the ups don't seem as high. It's flatlining. Or as what was it in the movie? You can't enjoy the sweet without the bitter. There is no sweet.
Yeah.
Because look how great you turned out. I mean.
Well, great. I don't know great, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that you, without all of it, I don't think that you would be as good of a person as I think you are.
Yeah. Yeah. So any other thoughts on that before we play?
Oh, also, yeah, money doesn't buy love, but it rents it for $9.99 a minute.
Hell yeah, that's true.
Over 18. Yeah. I'm so used to the phone calls, not the internet.
That's true. That's true. And I will add to this. My dad is rich, but he doesn't know love. My mother is poor and she loves. So yeah, facts. So let's play this.
To or interact with, and even from the people that you expect to be the most pro-family. Like, look at this comment section of Brett Cooper's video reacting to my first video on birth rates, which literally got damn near the same amount of views, where I spent goddamn weeks making it, by the way. But anyways, what you're also seeing in her right-leaning audience comment section is a lot of people also saying that they don't want kids or feel like they can't really afford it. But then again, maybe the ones with families probably got better things to do than comment on the YouTube video.
Fact.
Okay. But in all seriousness, as someone who absolutely want and will have kids in the future, I want to go beyond the obvious shit that everybody has talked about in this topic and go even deeper. Pause. Because when I've seen some of the poorest families have kids while some of the richest don't, I don't think it's simply down to the money.
Growing number of married couples deciding not to have kids at all.
But at the same time, are there also some people that are taking having kids way too far?
It was fully just out of his free will to give me a baby, lifting my legs up in a position where it's all going to work.
I guess you'll see. Why do you think a lot of young people aren't having kids?
Honestly, selfishness, narcissism, not wanting their bodies to change long term, the financial burden. They just want money to buy stuff and live their life, which I understand to an extent, but really at the core, I think we're supposed to be selfless. And I think one of the most selfless things you can do is have a child.
Probably because
Agreed.
of economic downfall. Times are tough this day. The economy is rough. If they can afford it, they probably will. And I think this generation, definitely people are getting married later. I don't know why, but it seems to be the case. I'm nowhere near getting married yet.
It's mostly money and time. Newer generation are realizing
That one is weird.
No, I sort of it's sort of what he said about married later in life. There's also the fact that marriages don't mean anything nowadays.
Yeah,
people
that's
rush into like back in
Having
the
a hot
old
girl
days.
summer.
People rushed into marriages. People got married 17, 18 after dating a couple, and then they spent their lives together. But it was you made a choice, you stuck with it. Like you see a lot of especially in my age when I was younger, you saw a lot of older couples who you could tell loved each other, but they more put up with each other more than anything. And it's just
that's true.
You stuck with your choice, and now people are told again, you're not stuck with your responsibilities. If you marry someone, you rushed into it without thinking or actually living together for a little bit or whatnot. You don't have to stay with them. You divorce in such a
we're gonna have kids.
And the problem is they see kids as they're stuck with them, and they don't want to be stuck with someone just in case.
It's
Because
in your 30s, like you're in your 20s, is people are doing that. Like I said, hot girl summer in your 30s is a little much. And that's part of the problem too. You can't have kids as easy the older you get.
no, but there's also adoption for that. But the fact that people don't want to be responsible for their actions, and the fact that people marry without feeling responsible for and they don't want the responsibility of being, well, if I don't want to be with him after so long, maybe I should. Well, they shouldn't get married in the first place, but that's not how society works. They get married and then they cheat. Everyone cheats on each other. And they don't want their responsibility of being tied to somebody. And then they feel like they're stuck with someone. And no, you're honestly not stuck with someone just because you have your kid, but you'll be stuck with them in life just because you share a child together. And if you can be civil.
Yeah.
There are some who just
there's some for the rest of your life. What do you mean?
No, but there's some people who aren't, and they just one of the two parents just takes off. But
and I will address that comment there. As much as I share a lot of that feeling, marriage are just a legal contract now, nothing else. So they're easily broken.
Legal contracts are more seen as permanent sort of things, minus a break in the contract.
Yeah.
You don't just end a legal contract because you don't like it anymore. Legal marriages are now more just big parties to attract people and to get attention, and then once it's all over.
Yeah, I agree with that statement there, but I will give a bit of pushback simply because I'm dating an African girl, and if they are traditional and they value that, I have a lot more faith in marriage with such individual because they're traditional. And the thing is, most of society here is not. We are progressive. We hate traditional value, and this is why
it's not even that we hate traditional values. Is there so much that people want to rebel, so they want to rebel against traditional stuff, and they want to emulate celebrities. And what have celebrities been doing before it was modern? Getting married and divorced, getting married and divorced. Like it's been going on for years. Even when divorces were more of a taboo thing, celebrities were doing it. Like, look at Will Smith and his wife. Like, that's just why people see stuff like that. It's like, there are people who are like, why did I tie myself legally and financially to someone if there's a chance that they might go off and sleep with my son's friend? Like,
with my son's kid's friend.
No. I suck at talking sometimes, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think Jennifer Lopez would be a better example of not getting
divorced. Or Jennifer Aniston, or any of them. Any of the big celebrities who just keep getting divorced. Jennifer Lopez is the worst because she keeps marrying and divorcing the same handful of guys.
And for the worst reasons.
Well, and look at Britney Spears as well.
Mark.
Britney Spears married a bunch of people and then divorced them right off the bat. Like, people, like, it's just this whole horrible thing that's being emulated.
Okay, one thing. Britney Spears announced the other day that she is the real Britney Spears. The doppelganger has died. Just so you know.
Wow. Oh,
No.
very interesting.
That's a discussion we should probably save for another video on
So,
Britney Spears.
So let's play the rest.
And that they want more money to do more things to a certain degree.
I think in today's society, a lot of women are feeling more empowered to not stay in toxic relationships. Everything is temporary. You don't have to stay in something. What I'm trying to relay here is, like, I think it's more of the women that are not wanting to have kids than it is men. I just hate social media personally, the ways that we interact, the ways that we date, the way that men view women more objectively because of, like, a lot of women themselves, like, objectifying themselves and, like.
Okay, so you're saying it's like a two-way issue. It's like men that are doing that, but it's not like women are free from the blame as well.
Sure.
I think having kids is about, like, genuine love. And I think whenever we get over-sexualized, we tend to look at women as just objects, and vice versa. Women look at us as.
I must address this. He's talking about objectifying themselves, and look at his shirt. Where's the shirt at? Very funny. I like it.
He gets hot.
Yeah, but he talks about objectifying himself.
Pig!
He wants to be objectified.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. You put it in better word than I could. So let's play Mr. Objectified.
Just, a dick to hop on. The social aspect that we live in right now is very anti-nuclear family. The idea of, a woman and a man raising a family, and the men being the head of household and the woman being the caretaker. I think that idea is kind of frowned upon nowadays. And I think that at its core is the best way to raise children and to have a family.
I think there's a masculine feminine dynamic where women are more independent, and so they're not settling down. It's taking them later to settle down. I think a lot of men, when they meet a high quality
women are not more independent, they're told to be more.
There's like an intimidation factor there for a lot of men, especially.
That's a very interesting statement. Now, I keep muting myself and forgetting about it, but yeah, fact. I agree with you, Mandalore. So
well, all the movies, like, it's all women power and stuff, and like feminism started off as being equal, but now the whole feminist movement has become, we're better, we're more independent, we don't need men. Men are scum, men are evil, men are the root of all evil, we don't need them.
Yeah.
That's why whenever I was asked, are you a feminist? I was like, no, I'm an equalist.
I'm the same.
There are differences scientifically between men and women.
Biologically,
scientifically. With muscles, with strength and certain things, with even knowledge and intelligence. Women do better in certain topics than men do, and in certain areas. There are actual differences, but everyone's equal. Everyone has an equal opportunity to do stuff. But they're being told no. They're better than. They need the pink tax and the whole pays thing, like the 50 cents on every dollar, is a bullshit. And the
United States the only state that charges a luxury tax on period pads and tampons. United States the only state that does that.
No, but the thing is, if you can pay less for women who can do the same job as men, they would be hiring nothing but women, because then they could save money that way. Secondly, there are people who've proven that some things feminine version cost more than male versions, and there's a reason for that.
Just because it's prettier colored, it has more.
That's
flashy. It's all bright.
No, it's not that. Look at razors. Who have razors been developed for? Firstly, and most men. So when they make a female razor, they usually try and take the men's razor.
Razor. But the first ad for razors were shaving women's legs.
But they also did for men's faces. It wasn't razors back then. It was a single blade. But my point is, what they did is like taking, like, I use Gillette. I love Gillette.
Okay.
So they have to take the default men's razor, which is a common thing, which doesn't change much these days. They kind of keep just changing the blades with the handles. For the female, they have to redesign the handle to fit a smaller hand. They then have to, they can't just use, there's also research that goes into, or more marketing that has to go into female ads. Men's ads don't need as much. Plastics are also different, have different costs and colors, and also fragility. They have to make sure the plastic and the material work properly. There's many things that go into developing things. It's not just a paint it pink, charge more. The cost of plastics and dye. Well, yeah, most women's have more lotion. Like, I've known a lot of women's stuff that have more lotion heads.
Girls have like 20 shampoo. Like, I will never understand this shit. Why 20?
But there's marketing and research and stuff that goes into it, which adds to the cost.
More
there's certain things that women's stuff costs less because
how did we go off on
How do we go so there are differences. We get it. Let's play the rest.
Let's go.
If they don't have their shit together, the traditional path is, you know, you go to school, you get a 9 to 5, you get married, you have kids. And I think more people today, with the rise of social media and technology and information, are questioning whether that is the right path for them and that's truly what they want.
Okay, so this actually brings me to my point, because I think a lot of people on the right like to blame this devaluing of the family, which is partly true, but what the hell does that even mean, right? Because in many ways, and I feel like I can say this as like a dual culture kid, America has always not really seen kids as assets, but more so liabilities that you kick out once they turn 18. And I think a lot of my international viewers will agree with me. So what I'm curious about is, why are American women more or less saying, fuck them kids? I think if you look here at the census data, it explains it. Because simply put, our generation is just moving a lot differently, a lot more cautiously, and growing up later, but for good reason. One reason is our generation has seen a lot of institutions fail, from the economic collapse to wars. And right now, we even have an all-time low trust in media. And that's exactly why I use my sponsor, Straight Arrow News. Straight Arrow News is a free app.
Don't give him ads. Don't pay for his ads.
Okay.
Goddamn issue. So go to san.com/women is that they waited too long to have children. So if the data is not lying, this shows that majority of women do want kids at some point in their lives. But 80% is pretty big, man. So this got me thinking that this must mean that at least some of these people were influenced to suppress their desires.
Do you think motherhood is looked down upon?
Who said it?
I think
who said that? Who said it? Come on, who said that?
The progressists.
Yeah, waiting too long. I said it.
Yeah. So.
Well, and that point connects even to what I said, that people are told they're not responsible and they should be more independent.
I think
by time they realize, oh shit, I do want kids. I do want the more closer to trad wife life. Not necessarily that they stay at home and are subservient, but just that they want to be a mother. They want to raise kids.
Well, I think it's that, like,
they realize that that's not, they're old.
Like Barry have babies at 42 years old. Not everyone can do that. Or having my doctor straight up told me, 30s is the new 20s now.
No.
There's going to be 40s and not fertile anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And then modern medicine.
Then what? And like, not everyone, like I said, can have a kid at 42, like Halle Berry. Or how old was Janet Jackson? Janet Jackson was hell old. And she can even have her own. I think that's her own egg. But see, not everyone
Janet Jackson also is partially plastic, so there's that.
But still, what I'm saying is that I think it's a lot watching all these, like thinking that you can have all this time. I have all this time, and then you realize, boom, no, I don't.
Well, with modern medicine, and the best example that's been used is scenes from movies and TVs. That you go back to the 60s and 70s and you watch a show about a bunch of 30-year-olds.
Okay.
They look like modern 40, 50-year-olds. They look, people age differently back then.
Yeah, because we have more, health.
Food was better, and they didn't put some kind of bullshit.
There was less preservatives.
There's more social media.
Medication, self-care has improved. So, so science has changed, and 30s could be the new 20s to a point.
Not making babies. Not to make babies.
No, but with medication medication even and scientifically, it has changed. I'm not saying it's a good idea. The older you are, the more risk you're taking, but it's becoming more possible at later times. Whether it's still more risky though. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Ahmad, so I know where you are from, so I can understand where you're getting at with this, but it's not like that in the West. I think in the West there's indeed a lot of women that feel that way, but I think majority was brainwashed into thinking they need to eat this shit, so they go to the workforce.
Okay. I'm going to be a bit of an ass here because I was trying to be nice this whole stream, and you pulled if you're sad, kill yourself. I don't take any. I don't take any suggestion or things from people named Ahmed too seriously.
Basement.
Okay.
Also, as one point, as Indirect Star said, yeah, this is coming from a very left-leaning guy, and I sort of picked that up when he mentioned Brett Cooper's audience. Like, I don't even know how legit the comments he picked were, because if you notice when he did show some, it was in different font text than normal. It was like he retyped it. So who's to say if those were legit comments that he put up? But he seems to be he really did was pointing. The first thing he showed at issues in the world and showing institutions that failed was J6.
Yes, Ahmad, you're right. And I will address a little bit more as well. Is as much as I understand that feeling, I feel like it's giving up on improving on yourself. But yeah, I understand them, but at some extent, I think that's not something I wish people
Where's he from?
doing. Somewhere in the not necessarily Middle East, but I know he is like 12 hours ahead than us or so. So he's somewhere in Asia.
Without if he doesn't want you to answer this, or if you don't want to answer this, I understand. Just asking, does he come from a typically Muslim culture? Not saying he's Muslim.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah,
I might be wrong. I might be
think,
wrong, but I think
if he wants to correct that or agree, I don't take anything he says.
We could do the Coach Red Pill. I know. We could do the Coach Red Pill thing. And
I'm not going. Oh yes, yeah. So hush, Ahmed. I'm not going to go get killed by Ukraine. I'm not Coach Red Pill.
We're gonna do because women are dogs. You gotta come.
Women are dogs.
That's what he said. That's what his.
Oh, I know, but he's dead now, so what he said doesn't matter.
That's harsh, Mandalore.
You said if you're unhappy, go kill yourself. I'm just saying he's dead. I'm just commenting on actual facts.
Guilty.
Be alone.
Guilty. So I guess you can play now.
A lot of people, at least from my perspective, a lot of people end up seeing motherhood as like their main purpose, their biggest purpose in life. I, on the other hand, haven't had that calling, so I can't speak for myself, but I don't think it's looked down upon. I think relationships do break from motherhood.
No, but I think having a feminine role in a family is looked down upon. It goes into the music industry. You have artists like Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion pushing the idea of, you're a boss bitch, you don't need no dude, which by all means,
Sexy Red.
I think that being in girls' heads, that type of mom isn't a good mom. A good mom accepts that she's the caregiver. I think there has to be roles. There has to be balance. And men and women are both losing that idea of balance.
But when having 2 kids with a husband and wife quickly shifts from being normal to more of a luxury, other options are obviously going to become a lot more popular. So now I was curious to talk to someone who really wanted to have kids, and at the same time, someone who really wanted to be a single mother. And all I could think about is
disgusting.
Is this going to be the future? Nice to meet you, Sophie.
We are there, guys. We are there.
So far, but this might be the most interesting. You're currently pregnant, and you did it through unconventional ways.
I felt like
wait. Okay,
going
pause.
to
One sec.
the doctor.
Okay, what did you want to say? And then
I was going to say this is the best example of, is it selfish not to want kids? This is selfish to have a kid.
Yeah, yeah, she's nuts.
She's an independent woman. She's
no matter how much this guy might argue against it, and some people might argue against it, the typical father working, mother being mother households work the best. If they divorce, I'm not even someone who says gay couples can't adopt. I don't think gay couples should be.
I will add the nuance
creating
after
kids,
you're done with your rant.
But I don't like how the newer thing is they're paying for kids to be born, and they're picking the genes, they're picking the mother, and they're picking the donor, and they're.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be. I don't think that is good. But if a gay couple wants to adopt, I don't have a problem, because it's better for a kid to have a loving set of parents who support than no parents at all, and to feel unloved. But this woman is intentionally putting her kid through possibly dating a lot of guys and having no men constantly in their life, which is putting a bad example for men on the kid's life. And then on top of that, or just lonely, that is only having a one working mother who's probably not going to be able to give all the attention and not be that supportive. She just wants to be a mother. It's more of a.
I want the sound. I want heritage.
It's the girl boss saying, "I don't need a man to have a kid." And this is one of the negative responses.
The kid will be sad, I swear, and I know I'm talking by experience.
But she's trying to say that she doesn't need a man to have a kid, and it's going to be harder on that kid. And there are single mothers and there are single parents like you, as an example, and as Miss Sparkles, who love their kids and try and do the best for them. But they didn't do it because they want to be girl bosses, and they didn't want to just.
Well, it's not like I did a single parent thing my whole. I mean,
no, and it wasn't and it wasn't intentional. But the ones who do it but the people who do it, like this woman, just seems to have a donor and wants nothing to really do with him. And there's newer things where sperm donors are getting charged, whatever it's called,
child custody, child care,
child support.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
Wow.
They donated, and there's gay couples who are trying to get them to pay custody things. But this is selfish on the woman, that there's a harder chance for that kid, and it's proven that kids in two-parent households usually do better.
What gender is the kid to?
That's true. And
there is
I
data backing it, and she is intentionally putting this kid at risk of not doing as well and having a worse off life because she has to have a kid and she's not willing to find someone, or she hates herself so much, or she's so girl boss that she's sacrificing a proper life for this kid just to prove a point.
Yeah, and I will add more the nuance. So the gay parents, I'm fine with them being parents if they really want it, because that's very hard and challenging for gay because they need to go through oops to get kids, or they need to adopt. But here's the thing: you said it. We need a father and a mother. So even with gays, I feel like they would need some strong opposite gender figure for the kid to really look upon at.
Even with that, it's just if they have good parents who love them.
Well, I watched this really good documentary when I was younger, and it was about gay couples that kept like it was a lesbian, kept the father around through the kid's life because they had a boy, so that he had that father figure, and it was all about how keeping the parent, that other parent involved.
Or an actual father like it's better to have a father,
an uncle, or an uncle or a granddad or something like that.
Or if it's one of those where one is a butch dyke, and I'm not trying to use that in insulting terms, where one almost presents like a man.
The child's life is the same sex parent.
But it's as I say, it's better to have loving parents than to have opposite gender parents than no parents at all. But science has proven, data has proven, parents from a one female, one father household to have better chances at succeeding when they're older than single or gay parents.
Yeah, that's true. And I will also add more to this. If you're a dad and you got a daughter, how do you explain periods? Oh yeah, you're bleeding once a month, but she's like, oh, like you're a man.
No, that's a bit of a, you can do, like, in all honesty, as long as the father's not grossed out by period talk, he can explain and whatnot. And and usually if she needs to hear it from a woman, there's also, you can sort of, there's usually grandmothers or aunts or female friends of the father who can help explain. And nowadays there's more online material to help with that. But it's proven that a single parent does better than no parents. Gay parents do better than sort of no parents or single parents. And straight parents do the best of all. Like, it's been proved, like, it's not just hate facts or lies. It's been scientifically proven with data.
Yeah. And I'll also add this because we are going into what happened next night. I did see the video prior. Trauma is a sure thing about that single mom, and she doesn't heal from that trauma, so she will just pass down that trauma. And I think she is part of the disease of the gender war because.
And again,
let me finish. Stop. Let me finish.
Stop.
Let me finish.
Like, she had a bad experience, and therefore she thinks she can only have bad experiences. So that fuel and that feeds into that big issue with the gender war and the divide there is. And yeah, she is a woman with issues. Yeah.
Well, and this is actually the sort of thing that two situations create different outcomes. The one woman said she grew up in a horrible household. She wants to have kids to give them a good life. Whereas this one has had a horrible experience and just says, well, fine, and just sort of continues that. And I don't say single mothers who have kids are selfish. If this was a woman who was going around dating and whatnot, got knocked up by one of her dates, and then goes, well, I want to be a mother and I'm not going to abort it. I want to take care of this. It's my kid. And that's not selfish. But going out just to get pregnant without having anything, without the sort, is selfish.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, like, what if there's no other option? What if she really wants a kid? But no, she
don't make kids if you cannot secure a relationship. That's what I think. And that's
also that's like you're going in the gray area with that.
Like, that's funny because I had to talk with someone, and that person was like, oh, but if you can't find someone to have kids with, yeah. And I told that person, well, that will break me, but I think I won't have kids if I can find a partner, because I want to give the best outcome to my kids. I won't have kids if I can find a partner. It's simple like that.
Well, but here's the thing, as I brought up before, you won't go out of your way to act to try and have kids, but if you can't find someone you're happy with and something happens, you will still be a loving father and work with the mother as long as things are mutual and can be worked out. Even in two separate households, you will still give it a proper life.
We do North Korea, make them go to jail if they file for divorce.
No, but there's a difference between actively going out there to try and reproduce, despite not being able to feel like you can supply it, and it happening, and then being the adult and taking responsibility. I think
there's a movie in the 80s like this where this lady
every movie's been made, but I think Malty is the type of guy who, if something happened but wasn't working out, he would go.
Malty, what if your marriage doesn't work out? What if you get babies and
I will be shattered if it doesn't work out, but I will do my best.
But if you went on a date and something happened and you weren't sure about the relationship, you would still take responsibility.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I'm not sleeping on first dates like that. Like, I think it's part of the relationship at some point. And it's funny because some of my friends are like, "Oh, but are you gay because you don't sleep on dates like that?" I'm like, bruh,
No, I think
Bruh,
it is.
shut the
okay.
fuck up.
That's just childish.
If you get a chick and she cheats on you, I will find her. I will get her. Don't worry. I got your back.
That's at our age. That's a bit childish.
If we get married
sex on
and
the first
you
date,
cheat on me, Jennifer's gonna get you. There we go.
But
if
I was different, I would have sex with someone the odd time and then start dating them. Like it was kind of like
I'm not like that, bro.
No.
And you're the conservative one. What?
I was young.
He's
I was
crazy.
young, dumb, and
Full
a boy.
Of what?
I was young, dumb, and full of cum to give.
Okay, but what I want to know.
Wait,
Multi,
you're
is
that?
Very
Oh, that's cool.
Not that I
That's
know
the
of.
lore.
Not that I
Wow.
know of.
Mute
We get the
Tiamat.
news here.
He talks too much, and this little pervert is talking too much.
So we got Dad Mandalore.
Where's my Tiamat, anyways? Where's my butt? Where's my?
He is playing video games. He's chilling. He got the link. If he doesn't come, doesn't come. But yeah.
And I'm not that I know of. But any day I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's push play.
18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old
Degenerate.
showing up at my door going, "Daddy." But it hasn't happened.
What? I have a
I have
kid.
to
Since when?
That happens. I have to.
I was going to say, who's your mother?
The whore down the street.
No, they're old.
You know, the one with
I
the
live
blue
in the
hair.
country.
One
I
with
don't
the
have many neighbors. The woman
The
down the
SJW that you told that you didn't like because she was a Muslim, but you did it anyway.
Let's play this.
To use his own sperm.
Does that happen?
Yeah, this happens quite a few times for a lot of people. Unfortunately, I have seen a lot of things like that, which scared me a bit. So I thought I definitely didn't want to really go down that road, and I didn't feel like I need to have to go just to have a partner, relationship or marriage just to have a child.
Crazy.
It's not something I thought that I wanted to do. Like, and I'm not
glasses.
younger.
You're only 24, 25. What is kind of like the big rush? I know, yes, women have like a biological clock, but you still have time.
I felt ready. I'm in a
No, you're
secure
not.
place now in myself, in my life.
She says she feels ready. Are you shitting me? She cannot secure a relationship, and she tells she's ready.
Well, she wasn't even really
cannot
trying
get
to. Though.
along with a man. How will you get along with your kids?
He is just, you can
She's
tell by the
deluded.
glasses. The glasses are a key sign that she's more on the feminist thing, and she believes.
Is it?
Yes.
What do you
Yes, those
mean?
glasses are.
She lives on her own realm somewhere, lost in space and time.
So she talks really slow, like she's on drugs. I know that.
No, she's British.
Yeah, British are crazy. You're right.
No, but she is just. Yes, you usually want to have kids. You want to have your first kid before you're 30.
Yeah,
but she still has
she's not
she still has
ready.
a couple years
Peak
before.
age, I was told peak age, the best age to have a kid is 24.
Yeah, that's true. But she's not ready. I'm sorry, but she's not ready.
But you still have a couple years after 24. It just.
Mentally,
30 is kind of the
being a
deadline.
mother.
30 is sort of like the cutoff point for the most part, where it starts getting really dangerous and really complicated. But
she is not there mentally.
No, she's not there. She's not ready. She's rushing.
Well, let me hear a reason why she wants to have. Why she?
Oh yeah, let's listen more to her.
Yeah,
let's listen to her story.
I didn't feel like rushing straight away to a sperm donor, wanting it right now, but it come along my path, and I felt like.
To be honest, I'm hearing about that story, and I
Come
hope child service takes her kids. I'm sorry, but like she doesn't deserve kids. Child service, help here, help.
That is also wrong. I think.
Hold on. What are you just say after it came along the path? Hold on.
As we said, a single mother is better than no mother or no parent. If she's actually going to give the kid a loving life and proper life, that's fine. But the whole fact of not even trying to have a kid with someone is
I
selfish.
want to
It's
hear
just
her
when
thing
that-
about it came along her path. I want to hear what she has to say about
Yeah,
it.
that was more. That she did. It wasn't right to have a sperm donor. She didn't want to pay for it.
Saw the sperm.
Yeah, you're right. She didn't want to pay for it. So what if she doesn't even have the money? Wow, we can elaborate bullshit stuff around it, around this.
Like, okay, do you know what? This is the right time. I'm at the right stage in life.
So we'll get to the guy who got her pregnant in just a minute. But first, I wanted to know how she even got in contact with him.
I found him on Instagram and I wanted to know a bit more. So I had quite a lengthy video chat with him to make sure he was actually real as well. He suggested and offered me to go straight to where he was.
But that's still funny. She's wondering if he's real. It's like we are there, folks. We don't know if people are real because there's too many AI.
Or no, but that's also been because even before AI, people would use other people's pictures, and you never know who's talking. That's not just AI. This guy, sperm donor, is just trying to get laid without relationships. This guy is also a piece of crap.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Like if he was a sperm donor, go to a clinic and donate your sperm. No, he's like, you come to me and whatnot, and I'll knock you up. He is a fucking piece of shit.
He is an STD transmitter or some shit.
This is
like
just
that.
like what's her name, the cum dumpster we talked about a while ago.
Lily Phillips.
She just did something with Bonnie Blue, and they
there's
squeezed the condom.
yeah. They're feuding because who can be the bigger whore.
But
But you know, the question about who was worse, was she the worst or were the guys the worst? And I came to decide they were both equally, like she's sleeping with all these men, but at the same time,
they squeezed the condom.
They all agreed to do this. Yeah, I found this guy who apparently has a profile for donating sperm, and it's just him trying to get laid.
No, is he having? I don't think he has sex with them.
No.
Yes. Wait. Yes.
He said he'd pay the tickets for me to go to him, or that he could come to me.
Yeah,
Obviously, in my schedule, it worked best for him to come here.
So he flew to London.
Yeah, he even offered to pay my tickets to go to London.
Did you guys have any contracts? You guys didn't exchange any money?
No, we didn't exchange any money. There was no contract signing. It was fully just out of his free will to offer to give me a baby.
So was it through kind of like a insemination, or did you guys actually engage in activities?
It was through NI.
What does that mean?
Natural.
Got it.
Yeah,
and it didn't take long. It was very quick. It was less than half an hour. And
No, because it was because she explained, and she'll go on to say it, legs up in the position. She said that in the preview to this scene.
Hopefully that seed won't go anywhere.
No, but my point is, this guy is just a scammer. He's getting women, and he tries to get it. There's no contract. There's no thing going where he wants to donate sperm without going to a donor. He's just trying to get laid.
That's true.
And then he gets child support.
No, and with no child support, because if he doesn't give their name, if there's no contract, if there's no anything.
If there's no contract or anything, she can go after him for child support, and he's an idiot.
Yeah. She has to then pay for at least birth, because he can say never happened. There needs to be sort of.
Yeah.
No, but there needs to be a test to prove.
Paternity test. Yeah, and you don't have to pay for that. He's
And
dumb.
the problem, and the problem on top of that is also, if different countries, it's a little different. So,
I wonder if the UK is like, but yeah, okay, all right.
No, but from UK to where he's from, I don't know. We haven't heard him talk really, so I don't know if he's American. He might be. He sounds like an American asshole.
And if they are not in the same country, that will be more complicated to collect money.
No, but my point, well, yeah, but different countries makes it harder. So this guy's flying or getting girls to come to him, but he will go to them and then have sex with them to donate. Now, if he also does the option where I can supply that and we do it the other way, but I think his specialty is natural breeding.
Yeah.
And this is just him getting laid and never being
held
having to
accountable
take
or the kids.
responsibility. Like this guy is a bigger piece of shit than she is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually true. I agree
So
with
like,
that.
I'm not just, and it's not just girls. As I've always said, in pregnancy and whatnot, it's not. It takes two to make a baby. That's why both should have a say in it. It's not just woman's body. It's a life created by two people. But we're not getting into the whole that debate. But my point is, he's a bigger piece of shit because he's just zip that dumb.
Lifting my legs up and, you know, in a position where it's all going to work.
Do you think people will look down on the method that you did?
I think definitely people would criticize my way of doing it because
Yes,
they would see it
you're
as,
crazy.
well,
You don't want
shouldn't
what's
do
best
that,
for
you
your
know.
kids.
You should probably like get married or have a partner just
Yes,
to have a child.
that's
And
the
it's not
only
something
thing that
I
makes
wanted
sense.
to do. Like I had a bad relationship. I was in a relationship for nearly 10 years and that was my first relationship and it sort of scared me and put me off and I didn't
One
feel like I want to go
relationship is
into another
enough for her to
relationship just to
tap
have a
out.
child.
Are you kidding me? This is what we have. Gen Z in full display. They cannot like handle each other. They cannot like how do I put it? I try to find the right word. They cannot handle each other. And they
It's
want
immaturity.
kids. One
People are like,
relationship.
Yeah.
And then she pretends she is ready. Let that sink in. She is not. Call child services. For real. Think I'm joking. I'm not. If she really becomes pregnant.
Yeah, but child services is not the best. It's not.
No,
worse.
that's worse than a single parent.
No,
As I
it's
said,
not. When you have that glasses girl as your single mom, I'm sorry, but like
that's okay. We're being a little judgy here. Yes, and I know I told Ahmed to shut the fuck up because he's Ahmed. But
it's true though.
Being serious,
yeah.
but that's more joking than anything else. But the point is, it's that sometimes single parents, sometimes even two parents can be worse than adoption and being in the system. If some parents are abusive. There's examples for everything. It's just it's proven that kids in certain families do better than others.
Never. It's bad.
And I think an issue there, it's getting normalized. That kind of thinking and behavior it's normalized. So people are just crazy and they don't even want to work on themselves.
Child, which is something I really wanted to be as a mother. I wanted to be a single mother and raise my child the best way I can.
And well, here
no,
it is.
that's a lie. Not the best way you can. That's the goddamn lie.
Too much
I'm a sperm
praising.
donor. So I'm not a sperm donor at a bank. I actually donate my sperm directly to people. I have traveled the entire world. I've been to Australia, all over Asia, Europe, and currently I'm in the United Kingdom. I have kids in all these places.
What got you into this, and why do you do this?
So I got into it because I didn't know if I ever was going to have any kids of my own. It was very sad. You know, obviously I'm still open to a relationship. If the right blog for watching this, hey ladies, I'm putting it out there. And so that's why I kind of got into getting sperm, because I never knew.
So let me ask you this. I heard from Sophie that you were even willing to buy her flights and that it was actually completely free. So it seems like it's not even like a monetary incentive. Yeah. I guess, is this what you do full time? How do you support yourself? And really, why do you do this?
I think it's not about me, like having a kid. I think it's more about
it's about getting laid.
Next person. She does. She wants I think it's a lot. Like,
oh, he's so selfless.
It is
selfless, and he's such a
example. This is a perfect example of a modern male feminist.
Yeah, you're right.
He acts like he's doing a favor. Like, I'm doing a favor for the women by giving them a chance that they wouldn't otherwise have.
I think it's a fetish.
I don't even think it's a fetish. I think it's just a man who's getting paid to sleep around with people.
Knocking them up. They have games where you like fill women up.
Okay, you're getting a little off. Yes, there are fetishes for everything.
Open to a relationship, you have bastard all over the world. You're free.
People do crazy for fetishes. I could give examples, but I won't. But yeah,
that topic would be for us for one of your streams. But he's getting paid to do this. He sometimes gets paid to fly rather to travel. Sometimes he pays them to come here, so he's getting an escort to pay him to sleep with them.
He's boring looking. Why would you want to breed with him?
No, but
because nobody wants you, and you take whatever you can get. I don't know.
And you can also, but you can hear it in his voice, like he comes off as this very passive, sort of Gentile person.
Yeah, but people are paying him. Okay, people are paying him, but you could go to a sperm clinic, pick out, like they give you like this is what the sperm donor is, like a doctor who is like with blue eyes and black hair or whatever. Why are they going for him?
Because this is cheaper.
Is it? Know. How much is sperm? Okay, how much?
Oh,
he's probably cheaper.
He's doing this for attention. I looked up his Instagram. 90-day fiance. Season 4 cast, world traveler, 25 countries.
Just right chicks. It is using the I help woman get pregnant excuse.
Well, no, and that's what a male feminist does. Like when they usually side with women to try and sleep with them. Like I'm one of you guys.
Ally, ladies.
I have been trying to breed my Greek friend right there. We got to breed my Greek friend. So yeah, you got to take some tips from him, sort of.
But this guy. He's doing this, and I'm checking his Instagram, and he shows how he travels. This is how he pays for things. This is how he gets paid. This is all for fame. This is all for fortune. Like he's living a life of sleeping with people without being an attractive guy or someone who's known. Like he's known now for being out there for that.
Sperm depreciates too, you know, not just a woman's. Sperm is like is not the best after time too. So how old is this guy?
Probably in his 30s. Because it's hard
very attractive. I wouldn't want to make babies with him. He's just not very. He has a beta jawline, and he has like weird freaking skin color. I don't know. I don't get it.
But this guy is a piece of shit. He's from Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, I guess Jeff kids probably would understand.
No, I don't.
know. It's hard to understand. But if you have kids, I think you understand.
So look, I'm gonna keep it real because
like,
whenever I'm feeling biased or strongly about something, I'm gonna tell you that interview was probably one of the weirdest fucking interviews I've ever had. I don't know about you, but I just felt like uneasy talking to him. And look, who can say shit if he's doing this consensually and the other partner is all aware of it? But honestly, doesn't bro just have like a breeding fetish? Anyways, let's move on to the most important question or topic that I wanted to explore in this video. But before we do, sign up for a free weekly newsletter. Because if you like this video, I think you'll like this even more.
Who said it? I said he has a breeding.
He's not necessarily. Breeding fetish isn't as big of a thing. It's more of just a guy wanting sex. It's a little bit simpler.
So I will speed up things because I see time flies.
Population is a real thing. I mean, it's a real thing, but I don't think it's a problem in today's world. When you really dive into how much open land we have, how much food we waste every year, there's plenty to go around. It's a wealth distribution problem.
Aging population. It's not having enough kids to sustain the economy as we age out. By the time we're old, there aren't going to be enough kids to take care of us in retirement homes.
It's probably population collapse. That would be an underpopulation. Right? Yeah.
If it were to be between the two, I would say population collapse. But honestly, I think we're going to fall in state in this world. The only battle we have right now is against evil.
So I think the question keeps returning to, are we cooked? Because by the looks of it, when every country by the year 2100 is set to decline in population, yeah, it does look like we're getting cooked. And y'all remember this graph? Because when we look even closer, even though we established earlier that older women are having more kids, it actually doesn't even come close to offsetting the drop in birth rates for young women, aged 25 to 29, 20 to 24. And look at finally 15 to 19 with a 72 negative drop. When you consider things like the biological clock, no wonder they're not able to offset it, and birth rates are plummeting. But even though this all sounds cooked, there is at least some positives. Teen pregnancies have plummeted since 1990, where back then a third of
coming from complete liberal bullshit angle.
Yeah.
Did he say if he wanted to have kids or not? I missed that. Did he say if he wanted to have kids or not?
I don't think he addressed it, but he sounds like one of these that actually don't want kid because.
Do you want me to send you his Instagram so you can ask him yourself?
Oh, he's there?
Oh, I thought we were talking about.
No, we were talking about the content creator.
Yeah, send me.
You're asking about this Asian fag.
Yeah,
I probably hates kids, and he's probably liberal.
He's from a liberal, and he's probably thinking that he's probably coming from the point of view of things that have fallen, such as J6.
I'll ask the breeding fetish guy. You know, don't know me very well.
No.
I will.
He's a liberal. He's probably got more of a fetish for watching some big black guy breed his wife.
Isn't that always the best?
It happens sometimes.
Sparkles.
Those pregnancies would have been unplanned and with low-income women who were not ready to have kids. And so there's that, and I can stop it there.
But it's lagging because
no, what this investigation revealed is that we're not cooked, and it does go beyond the obvious.
We are not
rising
cooked.
costs.
Are you kidding me, dude? We are not cooked. Are you?
Wait, just let him explain.
Is he gonna make babies? Yeah, let me see.
Let him explain because he first said we're by the numbers we're cooked. So let him explain why we're not cooked. See how he explains this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just breed multi.
Money absolutely matters, right? That complicates things. But what we're actually facing is something a little bit more abstract. What I would say is a generational global crisis of confidence and purpose. Look, it sounds corny, but let me explain. I mean, think about it. We're a generation of kids who've grown into adulthood jaded than any other generation before. We grew up feeling like liabilities and burdens rather than feeling like assets to our parents' economy and planet. And we saw institutions that were supposed to be here for us to deliver us stability and prosperity, governments, corporations, educational systems fail over and
okay. This guy's full of shit. One, one of his first interviews was with the guy who said that parents don't see kids as assets, that they just don't see them as positives. Whereas he just said parents see kids as assets and they're nothing more. He just completely went against. And his examples for all the things going wrong, he showed J6 as another redoing that for institutions that have failed. And then he shows corrupted businesses, and he showed the Italian guy who shot the CEO.
Oh, okay.
So he's supporting that. So this guy, I also can't take this video seriously at all.
Yeah. Well, at that point, it broke me as well. I didn't realize what he was saying until now, and I enjoyed it my first time, but this time around covering it, I'm like,
next time find a random video and do a blind react.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. I think it's good to hear from the other side too, though. I mean,
you don't want to get. You want to know how they think. Like that's why you don't just watch your view leaning news source. You watch both sides because usually both sides do lie, and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that's true.
And you want to know how they're putting things out, no matter how agitating it can be.
Yeah,
but
it's some fish.
Over again and end up as hollow, corrupt, and self-interested as we are. And what I mean is that in a world where we seemingly have unlimited options at our fingertips from career, lifestyle, sexualities, and communities, we lack any sort of purpose. And instead of dedicating ourselves to be the best versions of ourselves so we can build an even better generation for the future, we're secretly operating and being blinded in action by the illusion of choice. But at the end of the day, survival, because why would you gamble on tomorrow when the system feels rigged and today already feels so uncertain? And so when someone like Sophie grew up as an orphan, and I'm sure she had her fair share of difficulties that I can't even imagine, can we blame her for wanting her kids on her terms?
Yes, we
that's
can.
been the most unpredictable.
She is in that case.
Who is it? Is that the chick who had it? The kid. The kid who got sperm. I didn't know that about her. I didn't know that about her.
That was the first time that he meant that the mention of her being an orphan that I heard.
Yeah.
That changes things a little bit. It's still a little bit selfish, but it's more understandably selfish. Is the reason.
Yeah. Also, he's changing what he said in the beginning. I swear, in the beginning, he said that people are like doing things with more purpose now. Now he's saying that people are doing things without purpose.
No, this guy is wish-washy.
I feel like he's changing what he's saying from the beginning. I swear.
And he said also, like, he had the one guy about the assets, and now he's saying otherwise.
How much longer is this?
It's
not that long. We are near the end.
And at the speed, it should go quicker. But this guy is just... And I didn't mean he was actually gay. I think he is... I meant that as more of an insult. Gays are gay.
I know.
Watch the South Park episode about bikers.
No, okay, let's just let him finish this stupid little shit he's saying. Let's go.
Okay.
So it made me think, is this single mother by choice going to be the future?
You're based in the UK. I think UK's fertility rates have been dropping year over year, and now it's below replacement levels like a lot of the Western societies. Do you think this way of having children is going to become a lot more popular?
Definitely, I think so. A lot of people in the world, especially women, feel that there's not a lot of good relationships out there, and
it takes two to tango. It's not all the men's fault, girl.
No, I think UK also is falling to replacement theory, and that like they're sort of punishing white people and bringing in more and more foreigners, and they're reproducing.
Yeah. So the whites are going extinct.
UK is big.
And I wish I would have heard our orphan story. I wish that we would have heard that part.
Wait, what'd you say?
I kind of wish we would have heard her orphan story or whatever.
Well, yeah, that does change things. That it's more level-headed than what we originally thought. Again, every example is different, and this guy didn't give it. Like, if she was just a lonely hippie girl, that would be one thing. That it would be selfish. But the fact that she was an orphan and then explained some things that she might like, and that changes the glasses. That changes a lot of things. That it's more reasonable. But yeah, this guy is changing stats.
Wait, let's play. Let's go. Let's go. So I'm finished.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Yeah, let's go.
In forever just for the perfect relationship, just to have a family.
So honestly, I'm not sure what will happen before we all get replaced by AI sex bots, but I do know one thing, and it's that when it comes to societal problems, I've done this long enough where if you follow the money, you'll often find the answer. Governments declare low birth rates as emergencies, not because they care about culture or tradition. It's about money. And fewer children mean fewer future taxpayers to support an older population. And it's exactly why I think issues like illegal immigration will always exist in the US, no matter what party. Because the truth is the US will collapse without the inexpensive labor that we use. So no matter who you voted for, there's no real incentive to actually solve that problem. If you don't believe me, look, that's fine. I mean, look around the world. Just this year, one of the world's most isolationist and homogenous societies, Japan, one of my home countries, allowed the highest number of immigrants ever.
There aren't enough people coming into the construction sector, so we decided to hire more foreigners.
So yes, all the immigrants were brought in legally as skilled labor, but when Japan's doing this, is this the solution?
I don't know what a good solution to that would be. Giving people the opportunity to come here and be able to add to that would be
Foolish
good.
shit.
A lot of people are anti-immigration. We got to recognize it. For example,
Okay, no, stop. This is becoming this has become a pro-immigrant. I'm not watching any more of this.
Okay, and I agree because I'm not pro-immigration either. Well,
no,
I think it's
He
important.
just irritated the hella crap. He is what you would call. I don't know if this is true. What I don't know if I'm. I feel like this has been very bad faith.
No, this whole thing has been a bad faith and pushing to pro-immigration and government's bad. Never trust the government.
The way
this
he,
is
like,
very much a left-leaning, possibly anarchist point of view. The U.S. will collapse without our cheaper labor. Again, his comment was literally just, we pay immigrants less that they're slavery is good because it helps keep the country alive.
Like I said, did he even say he wanted kids or not? Or I don't think he did it. And like,
you never said if he wanted kids. Yeah, when you answer a question like this, you should put some things of yourself in it. But he is very much. This has whole been a society is collapsing unless we bring the slaves, because that's what and it's a complete Democrat talking point is who will pick
just
your
let
farm,
the illegal immigrants do it for us. Basically, what I got from that.
Your babies if you decide to make babies again.
No, they make it so, and that's what they're doing. He says, like, economically, it's hard to have kids right now. So he says, yes, you shouldn't have kids. But because we can't afford kids and because society is too fucked up to have kids, we should bring in foreigners to fill in the gaps. This is literally what he's saying. This whole video is a bullshit excuse for replacement theory.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Because his thing, and he uses the excuse that we pay minorities, or not minorities, but we pay foreigners less, which is bullshit. He's talking about, and it's a Democrat saying, who will clean your floors, who will do all the slave work that no one wants for slave prices, because they think that you can only take slave wages. And they're like, you got to treat them equal, but not pay them equal, because that would be wrong. This whole video has been about replacement theory.
it collapsed
pushing-
at
and
the
pushing
very
it.
end.
And it's not that
I
it's about
noticed
the
it.
theory. He's trying to support the narrative of the replacement theory.
I guess it's not his first one, so.
No, and this guy he attacks Brett Cooper. Like that was earlier in the videos. Like he started off the video attacking Brett Cooper.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't like Brett Cooper, but I know she's conservative. But this whole thing has been.
It was interesting.
It bothered me, the whole thing, like, and the fact that he hid the whole orphan thing, which isn't a thing to hide, would explained she never explained it. So either he added it in after and is lying about it, or he hid the fact to try and change narratives.
Also, man up. Who cares that the breeding fetish just made you uncomfortable? You can ask your questions, not interrupt.
Yeah, no, and that seems like something, that seems like something he would liberal would say is someone who wants to reproduce is a breeding fetishist.
Yeah, you're right.
Anything that they disagree with.
But why even interview him if you're not even going to sit there and actually let him answer?
But he was very much. But liberals are very much. Anything that they find disgusting is a fetish that used to be natural. Anything that they're into, like multi-people in a relationship, that would be considered fetish, is now normal. This whole thing has been a narrative to push a point. And this was just disgusting. Huh?
We need to breed my Greek boy. He's in the chat. We need to breed him. I'm just going off on something else. That guy pissed me off. So I'm letting you talk. Let's go.
But I don't think it's a fetish. I don't think it's a breeding fetish. I think it was just a liberal point of view that white men breeding with other white people is bad. I think that's why he leveled it as a fetishist, because they want more color and they want more minorities. And this whole guy is just, and all of his videos and his suggested videos were right wingers, which means all he watches is right wingers to respond to them.
Wow, really? That's disgusting.
If you go back to the video, you don't even put it on screen. Well, they're not all right wingers, but there was also like Shoe on Heads, Brett Cooper.
Shoe on Head's not a right. She's leftist.
No, but leftists have turned on her lately.
Yeah, because she understands the right. Leftists don't like it when we have empathy for the enemy.
No, leftists don't like it when you disagree with them. So they turn on their own people when they disagree with them.
I lost many acquaintances because of my belief.
I've lost, being pro-life, you're considered a Nazi. Seriously.
I got attacked one day, all day, by a feminist lady because I said she was a selfish bitch, because she said if she gets pregnant by her husband, she'll abort the.
Is that the one who said? Is that one of the ones who said, "If I have a boy, I'll kill it"?
Oh, wow.
No.
That's
No,
very
she said that
progressive.
she loves herself enough to get an abortion. And I said, "You sound like a selfish bitch."
No, she's disgusting. If she's already pre-planning, it's one thing if they medical or other reasons cause you, but saying if I get pregnant at all, especially and if she's married, not even telling him, but just aborting it, that's disgusting.
No, she's married. They both agree now. Yeah.
The other one that's disgusting are the ones who celebrate that I've had 9 abortions. Some of them are lying, like they're just trying to make up a number to aggravate people who are pro-life.
I know a chick who had 9 abortions.
No, but I'm just saying some of those numbers. But there's so many women who are proud of having abortions and celebrate it like it's some. No, even if you have to, and it's the best, and sometimes it's the best choice, like medically or other things. Yeah. It's not something to celebrate.
Yeah,
never
I agree.
A happy thing.
There's so many options for birth control, and it's free. I mean,
or don't F around if you don't plan on having kids. Thank you. Have a good night.
So many
even if you stop being hosts,
even with all the birth control and doing them all properly, like you can, like birth control pill plus condoms plus spermicide, like you just add a couple of them up that won't fuck up. Like if you do a female condom, a male condom, that's not.
Oh yeah, we got it from Slutman.
No, but my point is, there's birth control, and even if you do all of them, it's not necessarily 100%.
Yeah.
Well, the copper IUD lasts 10 years and it kills the sperm instantly. It's like basically 100%.
No, and even condoms.
Also, we don't need to be slut faces. We can hold off.
Yeah, hold off. Be like.
As a
sparkle.
conservative, I feel like I'm the most level-minded here, not just because I'm conservative. My point.
Sure you're conservative, sweetie.
No, the point is, you shouldn't be having sex, even with proper protection, unless you're ready to have condoms. Are
Oh yeah, every time you think that there's a chance you might have a baby. Is that
no,
what you're
even with
saying?
even with condoms, there's still a chance.
Yeah,
even with the spermicide, there's a chance.
We are now in the outro now. We
bye everybody. Bye bye.
So what do you have going on, Mandalore?
Nothing, because there's Star Wars and just raising shit.
So maybe next week we will react to something else. We will see if you both feel it.
Nothing. I'm up most days for
like
a react.
My Barbie?
Especially if it's a blind react to something topical.
You like my Barbie?
So Barbie, what do you have going on your end of the internet?
I have nothing so far. Multi has a name for our podcast. We haven't really talked about it in a while. I'm supposed to go. And I forgot. Multi.
Yeah.
He does reviews, and he is such a good guy. But sometimes his movies that he recommends gets me in trouble with my mom, like The First Omen.
Hell yeah!
Come out of the. My mom called me back there and said your friend lied. That movie is not that good. But anyways, yeah. So we'll talk about it later. But I have nothing. Not right now. I have no plans right now.
Okay. Well, tomorrow I will talk about Companion, a movie about AI, and how the incels suck. That's the idea of the movie. I think it was a great movie, and I cannot wait to talk about it tomorrow with maybe Gray if Gray has seen the message I sent him. If not, maybe I will be alone for the review. But yeah, Companion, great movie. And with this, next week, movies. And yeah, bye. See you next time for the next stream.
AIDS.